Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's ASMG's Back Pass podcast. The results from this past weekend further define the direction teams are taking as we reach the three-quarter point of the season. Some of these results also bring with them a bit of drama that might affect the title and playoff races in an unusual way. Starting off, we have the visit of Fountain City FC to FC Atlanta. FC Atlanta does have a talented squad, but have not been able to get their footing for this season so far. Winless in 8 games leading into this match, now going up against a strong Fountain City team promoted last season by realignment. And it was Fountain City to come away with the victory with 2 goals from their star forward, Tristan Scheidel, putting him up in a tie in third place in the Golden Boot race. FC Atlanta had chances in the match, but could not convert them, and it cost them in the end. This result does wonders for Fountain City's playoff hopes, but FC Atlanta are now favorites for the drop unless they can make a drastic turnaround to save their season. Saturday's matchup between Vino Tinto Atlanta and Kalanji Pro Profile was thought to be possibly the marquee matchup of the day, with both teams having legitimate hopes of challenging for the division title when all is said and done. Kalanji would have the overall advantage because of having 2 further games in hand and the potential to make up those points needed in the title race. Today was a good start for Pro Profile, who ran out 2-1 winners with goals from Blake White and Joseph Samuel to counter the single goal from Vino Tinto's Jordi Mapolo. This was a match marred late on by an altercation between a number of players from both sides that included members of the public as well. Due to this melee, the match was called in the 94th minute before all the extra time had expired. The full details of this incident will not be known until later this week. There could be suspensions and fines to key players, which can have an impact for both clubs with the important games coming up. Another important game with implications for the division title was a matchup between the Revs and Athletic. Athletic were trying to rebound from the penalties from earlier in the season, which saw them deducted points, which means they go from fighting for a playoff spot to making sure they stay away from the relegation zone. The Revs were looking to stay in pace with both Dalton United and Kalanji Pro Profile and needed a victory today to do so. However, Athletic earned a point with a 1-1 result, whereas the Revs will see it as 2 critical points dropped in their quest for the division title. Athletic, on the other hand, inch away from the relegation places and can realistically look for a possible playoff place if they can improve results in the balance of the season. Next, FC Birmingham traveled to Albion SC, where there was a goals bonanza on the day, with FC Birmingham coming out victorious by the score of 4-3. A goal from Albion's Rodney Witter and a brace from Jermaine Hugh was countered by FC Birmingham goals from Jose Villanueva, Michael Brew, and Borhamane Kaba to cap off an exciting match. An important result for FC Birmingham, who turned around the rot that had seeped into the club that caused a deep dip in form in the results until today. The win means that despite all the recent drama, both in the back room with a coaching change and an issue with their home venue, they are now in a playoff place with destiny in their own hands. Albion remained balanced in the mid-table, above the relegation zone, but out of the playoff places for now. The last hot take review was between the defending champions Potros FC playing host to visiting UMA FC. Coach Andrew Joe Hwoon has worked a minor miracle getting his young team to play to a mid-table position despite missing most of the first-choice players from most of the season. But there was nothing he could do to stop the momentum coming from Potros today, and with Potros running out a comfortable 3-0 win to keep them comfortably in the playoff places. Adding to a UMA own goal were 2 Potros goals from Mark Bonneau, who now consolidates his lead in the Golden Boot with 12 for the season so far. UMA will have some work to do to keep themselves safe from the relegation drop in the remaining games of the season, but may be bolstered by the return of many of their first-team players from college duty. The only other news is that although North Georgia United were not in action on the day, they did benefit by receiving their 3-point forfeit victory from the withdrawal of Atlanta City from some weeks ago. This result pushes them up further into the playoff places and is quite a change for them from last season when they ended up dead last in the Premier Division standings. It remains to be seen what Coach K can do for North Georgia if they do qualify for the playoffs at the end of the season. Now, we're far enough along in the season to see the real favorites for the Golden Boot. Potros, as I said before, standout forward Mark Bonneau is in clear lead with 12 goals so far this season, with the next player in the list, Georgia Revolution's Martin Cicito, on 8 goals. Following them is a tie for third place between North Georgia's Emmanuel Lam and Fountain City's Tristan Scheidel, both tied on 7 goals apiece. With a few games left for all these players, the places could change by the end of the season. Now we'll look at the final look at the results from the weekend, which did shake up the division table this week. We look over here and we see, of course, the forfeit of Atlanta City. They're going to have a forfeit listing each week for the remaining season. North Georgia benefits from that. Fountain City, Kalonji Pro Profile, Georgia Athletic, and FC Birmingham all victorious, with the defending champions on Sunday being victorious over UMA FC by a score of 3-0. So we'll take a final look at the division table as well, and it shows that the race is still tight at the top, neck and neck between Dalton United and Kalonji Pro Profile, with Vino Tinto and Georgia Revolution still in the picture, having played more games. The top 8 will make the playoffs, and the top 4 of that will have home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. That race remains hot as well. As for the relegation zone, 2 will go down. And as mentioned last week in the pilot episode of the Back Pass, Atlanta City are already down and out, which leaves one more spot left for the drop. Now, although SSL FC are in that spot at the moment, SSL have 3 games in hand over the next place up, FC Atlanta. Getting positive results in those games in hand will see them jump out of the relegation spot as they battle with UMA FC and FC Atlanta to stay out of the drop by the end of the season. So it's all to play for as we get to the dramatic finishing weeks in the season. Stay tuned with ASMG on this YouTube channel to catch all the action and results. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Your support helps us to continue to bring you top-notch coverage of the UPSL Georgia Division. Until next time, have a great week and check out the games on demand right here on the ASMG YouTube channel.